Hello, we are on the set of Agatha Christie's The Mysterious Affair at Styles with the playwright Kate Danley and the director Bryar Golden. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thanks for having us here.
Yes, thanks for asking us.
So, Kate, as a playwright, The Mysterious Affair at Styles was Agatha Christie's first novel. Mm-hmm. What drew you to want to adapt this particular Agatha Christie story into a play?
So it was during the pandemic, and I was... So I'm a novelist in my normal everyday life, and I was adapting a bunch of my own books for the stage, and they weren't coming out right. And so I was like, well, is this a problem with the story, or is this a problem with my adaptation skills? And so Agatha Christie's work had just started coming into the public domain, and this book was available, and I thought, well, I know that she does a good plot and that her story is pretty good. So I thought, well, I'll just do this as an exercise. And what I found the experience to be was akin to a fine art painter being in a gallery, studying the brushstrokes of a master. I learned so much diving into her mind, her story, her voice, and it was one of those life-altering experiences for me, learning how to adapt her work for the stage.
So you started writing the script during COVID. Can you tell us a little bit about this production's history?
Sure. So I finished the script and I put it up online on the new Play Exchange, and out of nowhere I got this email from Theater in the Round Players in Minneapolis, which is the oldest continuously operating theater in Minnesota, and they approached me and they said we would love to do this play, and they put me through a development program where we would meet online on Zoom for 3 times. It was in the round, meaning that the audience was literally around the stage, which was in the middle. There wasn't a single wall anywhere. And they put it up and we sold out. It was a critic's pick by the Star Tribune. It got a bunch of Broadway World nominations. Was picked as one of the best of the year by one of the big theater bloggers. But this is actually going to be the first time it's been done with a proscenium. So this was how I originally envisioned the script. So it's really exciting to be able to see it this way.
That's great. And Bryar, as the director, what drew you to want to direct this script in particular?
Well, it was funny because I've been doing another show for you guys, and it was time to look at the plays for the following season, what I wanted to pitch as it being the director. And I picked up the script and I couldn't put it down. I started reading page after page, and the visuals, I mean, it was like falling madly in love. There was no crush phase. It was like, I just saw it playing in my head. And I think one of the things, and I said this to Kate, when she wrote at the front, before you just something that the writer wrote in there before you get into the script, is lean into the love, mon ami. And I went, yes. The play is, not only is it beautifully written, and it has a lyric kind of quality to it. It's a Agatha Christie, which when I was a kid, I read all of them. I think when I was 8 or 9, I just went through the whole bunch of them, and I love mysteries. I absolutely love them, but I didn't remember this one very well. And so when I was reading it, I was going, this is fantastic. I know exactly what the writer wants me to do. And that doesn't always happen. And my vision melding with what the playwright's intention to tell the story was. So it was a no-brainer. I was just excited that I got to do it.
So Kate, when you're writing an adaptation of a very well-known work into a play, how do you decide what to keep? How do you decide what to get rid of? But also putting your own spin on it as a playwright.
That's a great question. And I think the way that I choose what to keep in a script or not is that I want all of my works to be love letters to the source material. I want someone who loves Agatha Christie to come in and fall in love with this production of it. I want to make sure that the people who haven't seen Agatha Christie come in and fall in love with it. But I think that it's kind of sad that Agatha Christie is one of the best-selling authors of all time. It's like the Bible and Shakespeare, the only people who have outsold her. And there aren't a lot of people who are reading her books. There's a lot of people watching the TV shows or the movies, not actually sitting down and reading her books. Like, she was a genius, and the placement of her words is so exact. We were talking about this, how you take out one word and the whole thing collapses. And
it's true. It's true.
And so just wanting to make sure that for once that she had an adaptation of this book that she wrote that honored what she wanted on the page. And so I just tried to honor her work as this incredible woman who changed the face of fiction forever.
And you did.
And Bryar, knowing that too that this play is a Agatha Christie adaptation that's introducing Poirot as a character for the very first time, did you approach the script differently when it came to directing that you have maybe other plays before?
I didn't come to it differently. I think, well, Poirot is iconic, but he's also a human being. And I think that the way Kate wrote Poirot, the way she treated, the fact that he is human, that he brings so much love with him as the character. I mean, he is so kind and loving and mentoring Hastings. Their relationship in this story really spoke to me. And I think too often Poirot is portrayed as a stereotype, not as a real human being. And he is a human being. He's brilliant, but he's also loving and fun and funny. And so maybe, I did feel, yes, I was moved. I loved the story. I loved how Kate told it, but I did feel that we were going to give Poirot his due with this, that the audience could really see who Poirot is. Poirot. I'm not saying I'm calling him something bad, but and I was excited about that. So yeah.
Great. So when a script is licensed by a theater for production, the director doesn't usually have access to the playwright. No. And playwrights aren't usually involved deeply within the production either. So what has this collaborative process been like for the two of you?
It's so funny that you should ask that, because Kate and I met many, many times over the course of the year. We went and got coffee. We got to know each other. And for me, there's a lot of trust involved with bringing somebody into, the room. And to be able to have somebody like Kate come in and be such a wonderful addition, not just for me, but for the actors. Like, the playwright is there. We can ask the playwright, what about this in the story? And maybe, you even brought in the book for some people to read, because there's a lot of things, you can't put all that in a play. We'll be here for 9 hours. So she was a wonderful resource, a cheerleader. She had, lovely ideas, and we would giggle together. I mean, it was really fun. It was fun, it was collaborative, and she's now my friend. So, there you go.
Yeah, and I've been saying to people that being a playwright, a lot of times it's like being a caterer, where you spend hours dicing and cutting and cooking and making this incredible feast that you bring to this party, and then you don't get to go to the party. And the experience with Bryar is that I finally get to go to the party.
And it was a fun party.
It was such a fun party.
No, it was great. Yeah. It was great. It's like having, the more that actors can have in terms of support, resources. I mean, look, I have to, directing is not a democracy, okay? I need to be the head of the ship. But I never felt that I wasn't. I never felt anything except support from Kate, and the actors felt support. And not only is she the playwright, but she was also our dialect coach. And so all the wonderful accents that we've got these actors doing, I don't know if they would have been there like that. That's Kate. Kate did that. So she was like multitasking in here. And I think it's very beneficial, as long as the relationship works, and it's trust. Yeah. It's trust all the time.
And I'd say too, it was so wonderful that Bryar has created such a place of safety, that this stage is a safe place, and the cast was safe, and that there was freedom to be able to explore and test things out. And with a new work, one of the cool things is that I can make as many changes as need to happen. Mm-hmm. And that because Bryar had created such a wonderful, God, I can only think of the corporate word, synergy.
Okay.
This ensemble, this sense of family that was here, that actors and Bryar could come up to me and go, hey, could we just switch this line, or could we tweak this? And it was never an attack, or it was never, it was safe, and it was like, and so everybody was there. Everybody who was there was in service of making the best show they possibly could. And like, when everybody comes in with a sense of service, I think that's where great art happens.
Absolutely, and that's what happened. And also, Kate and I have a wonderful level of honesty and communication. I've never felt you don't always get that. I get that here at Driftwood. I do. That sense of community. And I mean, I can't think of a better environment to have done this play. Done it with Kate, done it with the cast, and with you guys. It's been wonderful.
And since we're on the topic of Driftwood, there are so few theaters in the Seattle area that are producing new work by playwrights, especially regional playwrights. A lot of times they bring in folks from New York, or they bring in folks from Los Angeles, but to have a stage where as a local I can have my work brought to life is this enormous gift. I've lived in this town for 10 years, and this is, let's see, I had a high school production and a college production, and that's it, of my work. And so to be given a home here is huge. It's very huge, and what you guys are doing is very special.
It is.
Yeah.
So thank you.
So The Mysterious Affair at Styles is obviously a murder mystery, and we don't want any spoilers, but do either of you have any favorite lines or scenes in the show?
I have one, but there are a lot of favorite lines. The one that I love, and I'm not even sure, take time on me. Poirot says that. I'm going, he's right. He's really right. Take time. So I've said that to the actors a number of times. What about you?
Mine is the happiness of one man and one woman is the greatest thing in all the world.
And that's true.
Yeah.
So final question, why do you think people should come see the show, and what do you hope people walk away with when they come?
I think they should come see the show because this is a great community of actors and production team members and backstage crew who have put their heart into this show, and you can see it on the stage. The fun, the love, the story, it's all there, and you get to be part of it. You get to be in the room with us, being part of that story, following along with it. And I really think right now, feeling like part of something and enjoying yourself and letting the rest of the world go away for a little bit and watching this amazing story that Kate has written, that these actors are doing, I just think it would be fun for you, and it'd be a wonderful way to spend your time.
And the talent that is on this stage is some of the best I've ever worked with. They're incredible. And I think that people need to come and witness what's here in Seattle that often doesn't get a space and doesn't get a voice. So I think that's really important. And then just sort of personally, I want people to fall in love with Christie and honor her voice and the place that she took up in the world. And this might be long, you might need to cut it out, but when I was in Minneapolis, I was sitting next to this little boy, and it was in the middle of COVID, and he had never been to the theater before. He was 10 years old. And so his grandfather decided he was going to come take him to see The Mysterious Affair at Styles. And I was a little worried because it doesn't have jazz hands, and there's no dancing cats. It doesn't. We'll fit it in. But he started like dancing in his seat, and afterwards, he was overjoyed, and he turned to me afterwards, and he said, "So are Hastings and Poirot in all of Agatha Christie's stories?" And I said, well, Christie wanted to have someone kind of like Sherlock and Holmes and Watson, and so they were partners in a lot of them. And he said, oh, well, Poirot has a lot more emotions than Sherlock. And I said, yeah, well, Christie wanted him to be someone who was led by his heart and led by his love. And he looked at me very seriously, and he said, I think I like Poirot best. So
It's true. But no, you're absolutely right. Lots of love in the show.
Yeah.
Lots of love.
I want people to come here and fall in love.
Wonderful. Well, thank you both so much.
Thank you.
All righty. Thank you.